Tim Hortons continues to be the most popular franchise in Canada. However, the frustration about Tim Hortons continues to escalate. We are now going to watch a former Tim Hortons owner who just goes off about the quality of the current Tim Hortons. You want to watch this entire video? We're going to talk about it right now on Employment Purpose. Let's go.
My fellow Canadians, I want to talk to you about a company called Tim Hortons. I'm a person who grew up in Tim Hortons. My dad owned 7 Tim Hortons stores, and I'm talking to you from experience from running and owning these stores. Today, I was at 29 Plains Road in Burlington, Ontario, and I will have to tell you that my drive-through experience was less than exceptional. And I want to report it because we got to start talking about this and making changes. We got to boycott this company, and I'll tell you why. Out of the 5th time or the 6th times I've been to this location, consistently I go through the drive-through and my order is incorrect in such a way that it's like 80% incorrect all the time. This time was no exception. I bought myself a coffee, 2 sugar, 1 cream. That's it. Pretty simple, right? What'd I get? 2 cream, 1 sugar. Okay, simple mistake, right? So when I ask the guy in this drive-through to correct his mistake, he lied to me. He just dumped another piece of sugar in there and decided to hand me the coffee cup back with the same coffee in it. He should have dumped it out and actually started fresh again. He did not do that. So I digress. When I came into the store to correct the issue, I kept this coffee cup below the counter so they couldn't see it. And I ordered the same thing. When they finally got to me 10 minutes later, after the drive-through finally cleared out and they were able to handle any traffic that walked into the store itself. So in other words, I was ignored until the drive-through was handled. The thing about this is that when I confronted the worker and she handed me the coffee and I opened up the lid and I showed her, this is what it looks like. And she says, and I said, how come this one doesn't look like this one? And the guy comes over and he says, I'll handle this. And I said to him, how come you lied to me about it? How come you just dumped sugar in and just lied to me? Number 1, sir, I used to own Tim Hortons stores. The sink's right there. I should have heard you pour the coffee out. Number 2, you lied to me. So that's pretty serious. Number 3, no name tag, wearing jewelry, and not wearing the proper footwear. The store itself had unclean floors, unclean countertops, and this was at pretty early in the morning, at 6:35 in the morning.
The guy's cooking, but I got to stop at this point right here. This guy, who was a former owner of Tim Hortons, he is not talking about a location in, let's say, Brampton. He's talking about a location in Burlington. Burlington is one of the probably one of the prettiest cities in Ontario. The quality. What's more annoying than when you're going through a drive-through in the morning when you got to go somewhere and they mess up your order? Because you have to go in, you have to pull over, walk inside the store. And that's why a lot of times, sometimes I just go inside the store now, because especially if the drive-thru is long, because at least if they mess up my order, I'm already in the store and I can just get it done. Because like I said, the quality continues to drop in Tim Hortons. It's just it's crazy. It's crazy. And the thing is, there's so many locations, right? They are all over the place. You got kiosks, you got spots. You're never too far from a Tim Hortons. And they really need some competition. They do need some competition. But the thing is, Starbucks isn't going to compete with them because Starbucks prices are higher, and we're seeing less and less Starbucks. They're slowly leaving, probably because of the prices and stuff like that. But it's the quality, man, the quality, and that's what's pissing a lot of Canadians off about Tim Hortons. And I'm gonna get into another topic, but let's continue to hear what this former Tim Hortons owner has to say.
So where are we going with this? This is a prime example of a location taking advantage of his customers. It's a prime example of a location also taking advantage of the foreign worker program. There was not one white person working in this store. I don't have a problem with non-white people not having jobs, but I do have a problem with non-students and not having jobs and foreign workers taking students' jobs. That's where I have a friggin' problem. And I'll tell you something else. If people are going to lie to me when I go to pay for something that I bought and then expect them to keep their jobs, I don't think that's the case. And I think there should be proper discipline from Tim Hortons to their employees and proper training from Tim Hortons to their employees. Secondly, I don't think Tim Hortons is a Canadian business anymore. And Ryan Reynolds, thank you so much for doing the ad for Tim Hortons and selling off your soul to help these corporations. So that was just, Ryan, I love you. I think you're a great guy. I think you're an awesome Canadian. But to actually have you do that for Tim Hortons when they have a foreign worker program that they've lobbied our federal government to expand and take advantage of Canadians kids who can't even get jobs. Man, that was a first job for a lot of kids. And we hired nothing but kids during the after school hours and on the weekends. But you don't see that anymore. And why don't you see that? Because it's cheaper for the corporation to hire temporary foreign workers and take advantage of that. You know what? That is the wrong thing to do, and that's not Canadian. Not at all. So, Canadians, I'm asking you to stand up, boycott this store, boycott Tim Hortons. Don't go back. Don't buy another coffee. This is the last coffee. And you know what? Pouring it out. Bye. Last garbage coffee I'll ever buy. Never again. And I'll do everything I can to lobby against you from having your business if this is the way you're going to treat Canadians. Bye, Tim Hortons.
Wow. A few points he drops on there. First thing is, if you go into a store and someone lies about your order, that alone, quality, that's not just quality, that's integrity. That is a reason to complain to management when you get your order, they're being dishonest about your order. And props to this guy. He goes on this rant. This guy did not curse one bit, and he's well spoken. You could tell he was a former owner of a franchise. It was a good video. And a few other things. Ryan Reynolds, I know he's like the face of Tim Hortons right now. Personally, I couldn't care less. You know what I mean? Good actor and all, but money talks. He probably doesn't even care. He probably doesn't even eat Tim Hortons anyway. He lives in the States. Well, California don't have any Tim Hortons, but anyway, he's the face of the franchise. So, but here's the thing. I can't say I have boycotted Tim Hortons, but I go to Tim Hortons based on two main criteria now. One, the location has to have a multicultural staff. I look at the staff right now and I try to see, do you have mixed employees? Can I go in there and see Indian? Can I go in there and see white, black? Can I see a mixture? If I see a mixture, then I know that this franchise is not just hiring temporary foreign, people coming in. Second of all is I do like to see young people in there. So if I do see young people in there, that's a big plus for me as well. But the first one is a top priority. That's why on my way to work, there is a Tim Hortons that is real close to where I work. And this location actually has a multicultural staff. They got younger people and older people in there. And I respect that because Tim Hortons they've gone too far with trying to hire only temporary foreign workers to save money, because temporary foreign workers will do anything just to stay in the country. So they're going to do what is required. But like I said, I don't have a full problem with temporary foreign workers, but this should be a percentage cutoff point. You should hire students. You should hire seniors. You should hire those who need a job. Period. Mix it up. Make it a requirement, because the quality and everything is continuing to drop at Tim Hortons, but we continue to buy it. Like I said, I have not fully boycotted it, but I'm already at the point now where if I don't see a mixture of Canadians working, and I'm talking staff, then more than likely I'm not going to support that franchise in particular. And I've noticed the difference. I've noticed the difference when the staff is mixed, when the staff has multiculturalism and different age groups. The quality is better because everybody in there is trying to do their best at the job. And this is just observation. This is not stats. This is just what I have observed. But I want to know what you guys think about this. Is this former Tim Hortons owner on point with what he's saying? I want to dive more into this. I'm going to have a part 2 video on this because there is a particular franchise. I'm not a big fan of this franchise, but I do believe it needs to come back to Canada to give Tim Hortons a run for his money. But I'll talk about that in the next video. In the meantime, let me know your comments, like, share, and subscribe to Born with Purpose. I appreciate you. This is D.A. Born. I am out. God bless. Peace.